Namaste friends, welcome you all for the biology session. So in today's class, let us discuss about morphology of flowering plants. So flowering plants nothing but angiosperms. So what is morphology? Morphology is study of external features. Study of external features. Study of external features of an organism, or we can say that organ of an organism or organ is called as morphology, which is called as morphology. And same like that, we're going to take that organ from, even though we're going to take that organ from inside the body, we're going to cut open the body, what is it, the wall, and we're going to take that organ. Suppose example, we can take that a kidney is, what is it, the bean shape, we're going to say. So that is how we can say the external feature of an organ. So bean shaped kidney sometime we'll say. So that is also a kind of morphology, even though we are studying internal organs, but we are not studying internal structure. So if we're going to study about the internal, what is it, the features, internal features of an organism, features, what is it, of an organism, internal features of an organisms, and also organ or organ internal features, that is called as anatomy. So in this class we'll discuss about the flowering plants, right, how the external feature will be there. This is MGS, right. So now in this, what is it, the session, let us discuss. So we know that there is a variety of forms of angiosperms. Why there is a variety of forms of, what is it, the angiosperms? So variety or diverse forms of, what is that, diverse forms of angiosperms, diverse forms of angiosperms. So angiosperms are completely diverse, diverse, mainly because this diverse form, right, is mainly because to adapt to the various habitats, So to make those, what is it, the plants to adapt to a particular environment, there is, what is it, the diversity in their forms, right. Now we know that they, what is it, to adapt habitat means where organism lives, or what is it, in this case a plant where they grow. So to study that external, what is it, the feature, we have to study the, what is it, the morphology. So here, as we all know that the plant which will be there, generally the plant with a root system and shoot system. So whenever we're going to consider the angiosperm, in this we can see two system, that is root system and shoot system. So root system, if you consider that, what is it, the one general, what is it, the typical angiosperm, what is it, the diagram, wherein which it will be with that is the primary root, and that is the secondary root, and this is the stem part. So in stem part, at nodes, what is it, it divides, what is it, into branches, and it may give, what is it, the flower, right, and there will be leaf, right. So these are generally, we're going to say that where exactly this is called as node, and in between the node there is a particular, what is it, the part wherein which generally, what is it, the flowers will be going to arise. So here we can take this is the structure of, what is it, the flower, where we can say that is structure of, what is it, the angiosperm, what is it, the plant, and there will be a flower and root system. At node we can see that is the leaves. So leaves which arises generally, what is it, from the nodes, and branches are also, right, which will going to give rise to the branches, and those branches from where the, what is it, flowers arises, and there will be a fruiting body, or you can say that fruit. So that is where you can say this is upper, what is it, the above the ground level, that is called as shoot system, below the ground level, that is called as root system. So root system which is present in the underground, right, underground part of the plant. So underground part, and we can say that this is the descending part. This is the descending part of the the plant, and which is always, we can say that is away from the light. So negatively phototropic, positively geotrophic. Root system positively geotrophic towards the light, and negatively phototropic. So this is what we can say, that is towards the soil, the roots which will going to grow. In that roots we can see that one is a primary root, right? Other one is from which that is secondary root will going to develop, and the lateral, the roots, that is tertiary, and then lateral roots will going to deeply penetrate. So root system which helps in anchorage, mainly which helps the plant to anchorage and supports the the plant. And shoot system, we can see that is the leaf will be there, and flower, right, and then fruit, right. So in this part between two nodes, which is called as internode. Between two nodes, the nodes are the region where the leaf arises. So this is the internode. So in this, the shoot system, generally in the shoot system, this is grow towards the light. Hence it is called as positively phototrophic, and negatively, that is away from the soil, right? Negatively geotrophic. So these are the two important things in case of root system and shoot system. So root develops from the part of the embryo. That root system develops from radicle of the embryo, and shoot system develops from plumule of the embryo. These are the direct question. So embryonal axis with radicle and plumule, where we can see this. So let us take generally in the root system, whenever we are going to say that the dicot, we can see taproot, and in monocot we can see fibrous root. So root system, in this, the root is a part which develops from the radicle. Root is a part which develops from the radicle of the embryo, and root is the descending part. I already mentioned that this is a descending part, and where you can say that underground part, descending part or underground part, right? And then root, in which generally we can say that that will going to divide in the dicots. Root is the taproot system. So as we all know, the taproot system, in which the primary root and secondary root and tertiary roots and lateral the branches will be there, lateral roots will be there. Whereas in monocots, that is a typical or a characteristic root is that is fibrous root, right? So these are the difference. So whenever we will come to that, there are three types of root. One is a taproot, fibrous root, and in one more, that is adventitious roots. So in this adventitious roots, other than the radicle will be involved, right? So let us take that what is exactly, that is in case of taproot, primary root arises from radicle. So difference between taproot and the fibrous root and adventitious roots. So in case of adventitious root, that is where we can say that is a prop root and still root. So here, this in the taproot, roots arises from radicle, and they're going to elongate, right? Elongates root from radical, elongates into primary root, and primary root divides into secondary root, and secondary root divides into tertiary root, and where tertiary root which will going to give the many lateral roots or lateral branches. So this is what they think you have to keep it in mind in the taproot system. So generally seen in dicots, right? Whereas the fibrous roots, right? Example, you can say that the mango and tomato, dicot roots, mango and tomato, right? So whereas here in case of fibrous roots, right, roots are developed from the lower nodes of the stem, lower nodes of the stem, or directly roots from lower nodes of the stem, or directly from the base of the stem, from the base of the stem, right? So here, right, generally we can say that no primary root, no primary, secondary and tertiary root if this is the stem and directly with the same length and diameter will be there. Whereas in this case, taproot, I already mentioned that radical elongates and that will going to divide forms of primary root, and that primary roots divides into secondary root, and that which will going to divide further into tertiary root. So like this it will be going to divide. So this is how we can differentiate when you're going to uproot primary and secondary and tertiary roots will be there in case of taproot system. There in case of taproot system. So that is you have to keep it in. Fibrous root, here the diameter varies, length and diameter varies in taproot. Length and diameter varies. Whereas here same length and diameter will be there. What is that? Diameter of the root, length and diameter remain same. That is why they looks like the fibrous the layer. Next, in case of adventitious roots, root originates from other parts of the plant. Root from other parts of the plant. So what are those other parts of the plant? Above the level, that is above the ground level, other parts of the plants. So what is the meaning of that? From stem, right, where you can say that they generally where you can say that the other than radical is not involved here. Radical won't elongate, right, base, that is the lower node, and here you can say that the other than radical, and mainly where you can say that the from nodes, or you can say that some stem, right, from stem, or sometime we can say that the internodes, right, nodes and internodes are involved here. So in this case we can say generally in the adventitious roots, right, adventitious roots, wherein which we can say that generally there are different types of roots. There is a prop roots in banyan tree, right, banyan tree, and you can say that stilt root in maize and grass, right, stilt roots, which are arises from different parts of the plant, that is by the above the ground level, or you can say that in the nodes and internodes, or from the branches. Prop roots arises from branches in banyan tree, stilt root in maize and grass, and also we can see that in the the sugar cane, right. So what is the major role of what is the function of the root which helps in anchorage, that is major functions if you're going to consider, which helps in anchorage, right, supports the plant, fix the plant, that is mainly it helps to the fixing the particular plant, right. And next, and when it helps in absorption of water and minerals, that is very very important, absorption of water and minerals, right. And along with that it also the mainly which has root hairs play a major role in absorption of water and minerals, and storing reserve food material. They helps in storage of reserve food material, and in some they're going to helps in synthesize growth regulators, and they gave in some they're going to give the mechanical support. So like that there are many in case of root system. So and in some the plant, that is they helps in respiration, that is the plant which are there in the marshy region, right. Example, the rhizopus. So in this, the roots are called as the roots which helps in respiration are called as pneumatophores. Pneumatophores. So this is the one we have to keep it in mind. And next, let us take the regions of root. So in this, the regions of root, we have mainly three regions. The one region which is generally the apex of the root, which is covered by apex of the root is covered by root cap, right? Tip of the root is covered by root cap, and root cap which protects the apex of the young root, protects the apex of young root while the penetrates through the soil. Next, this is the region of meristematic activity. So one region of meristematic activity, right? We can see this, and this is the region of elongation, right? This region is the region of elongation, and above that there is the region of maturation. So region of maturation can be identified easily, right, where the root hairs will be present. Up to the maturation, the root hairs will be developed. So in this case, the region of the root cap, which covers generally root tip and protects the structure, which is generally thimble shape, thimble or cap like structure, right, perforated, right. As it will going to penetrate through the soil, it protects the root apex. And region of meristematic activity, that is present few millimeters above the the root cap. It is present above few millimeters, right, above the root cap, in case of meristematic activity, where we can see that rapid mitotic division will be there. So generally, the cells are very small, thin walled. Cells are small, thin walled, and dense cytoplasm is present. Dense cytoplasm is present. So in which we can see very the rapid mitotic division, and these are mainly involved in rapid mitotic division. So that is what in the region of meristem, the cells which are involved in rapidly and repeatedly, they can divide. Repeatedly divides, that is, they can undergo mitotic division where cell number increases. Cell number increases in this region, cell will going to elongate and enlargement takes place. In the region of elongation, cells, cell elongates and enlargement takes place. Cell elongation and enlargement will be there. So in this elongation and enlargement, it increases the length of the root. So region of elongation, that which helps in the growth in terms of length. Length of the root increases. So it contributes for the growth of the root in length. And region of maturation, it is with the root hairs. And these root hairs, right, generally which are formed by epidermal cells. Elongation of the epidermal cells. So root hairs are formed by epidermal cells, right. So in this maturity, those cells which are the elongates in the region of elongation, right. In the region of elongation, cell the elongates and enlarges, right, and those cells in the region of maturity, that elongated and the enlarged cells, which are going to keep on moving towards this, right, and they are going to increase the length, and those will going to differentiate. A very important thing, these cells which differentiates, we can say that differentiates and attain maturity. When they attain maturity, here you can say that once they mature, that those cells which will going to attain the region of maturation, occupy the region of maturation. So these the elongated, enlarged cells differentiates and attain, differentiates and attain maturity. When they differentiates, attain maturity, they becomes matured cells. Mature, what is that? Cells. So that is what? Region of maturity. So next in this shoot system, here before going to that, the what is it? The root hairs confined to the this region of maturity. So root hairs are the epidermal in origin, right? Epidermal in origin, and they are where you can say that the epidermal cells extends and forms root hairs. The extended epidermal cells, which are called as, extends and forms root hairs. So this is what you have to keep it in mind. Next, in case of what is it, the shoot system, I already mentioned, which includes mainly, that is the stem, right, branches, leaves, fruits and flowers, that is flowers and fruits, right? So these are the structures which are present in the ascending part. So stem is the ascending part, and this is the above the ground level, right, above the ground level, and that is formed by, develops from plumule of the embryo, and this shoot system, wherein which we can say that generally this stem has nodes and internodes. In root system, no nodes and internodes will be there. So now stem bears two types of buds. Stem with what is that? Branches, and stem generally in which the nodes and internodes. And nodes are the regions where, node is a region where what is it? The leaf arises, right? If you consider this is a stem, and nodes are the region where what is it? Leaves arises. And at that axil there is an axillary bud. One is axillary bud, and at the apex, the tip, there is a terminal bud. So there are two types of buds in the two types of buds in the stem. That is, the buds are axillary bud, axillary and terminal bud, So generally this axillary bud, the present which is in the axil of the leaves, axillary bud present in the axil of the, what is that? Axil of the leaves. So axial of the leaves, later it develops into branches. Later it develops into branches. So that is where we can say that. And the apical meristem, which will going to, what is it? The modified into floral meristem into floral primordia, and then that will going to give rise to what is it? Inflorescence. So we'll discuss that later. And next, in this we can take the main function of the stem, right? So node and this one, and in between two nodes, we can see what is it? Internode, where no, what is it? The generally no parts will be arises, no other structures will be arises. And next, the function, major function of the, what is it? The stem, it is a conducting, mainly helps in conducting water and minerals, and it also helps in, what is that? The photosynthesis, as it, what is it? They stretches out, right? Mainly the stem, it bears the branches, leaves and all those things. As it stretches out, right, generally produces flowers and then leaves, and after that, those flowers, after fertilization, produces fruits and seeds. So, and those leaves which helps in, what is it? The generally helps in photosynthesis. So that is a major function. And some which helps in, or what is it? The modified, what is it? The stem, which helps in what is it, the protection, mechanical support, right, which helps in protection. What is it, mechanical support, right, protection, like we can say that the thorns and spines, right. And here you can say that the mechanical support which will be there, that is the tendrils for anchorage, right, and many other, right. And some they're going to helps in photosynthesis, that is the phylloclad and cladode are the best example. And in some, what is it, they're going to store what is it, the food, and also they helps in vegetative propagation, right, vegetative propagation, which is going to give rise to young plant using that vegetative part. And they also helps in storage of food, storage of food. So that is where you can say that the rhizome of ginger, what is it, tuber of potato tuber, right, tuber of potato, bulb of onion, right. So bulb of onion, and these are the structures which will be, which helps in, what is it, helps the stem to perform this function. So next in this, the leaves. So leaves which will be there, generally this is a part where we can say that leaf lamina will be there, and that leaf lamina with midrib and vein and veinlets will be there. These are the veins, right, and which are with a small, what is it, the veinlets, like this it will be. And this is the base of, what is it, this is a node. At node, what is it, where base helps, what is it, the leaf to attach with the node. This is a leaf base. And this is the petiole, the stalk of the leaf. Stalk of the leaf is called as petiole. So in the stalk of the leaf, what is it, the petiole, and when it enters into the, what is it, the leaf, that is called as midrib. That is called as midrib, a prominent vein. This is a prominent vein, that is midrib. And from midrib, the many smaller, what is it, the veins arises, they are called as, what is it, veins. And those veins which gives rise to, what is it, veinlets, which are also called as venules, and this is the leaf base, and this is the leaf base, and this part which is called as, what is it, the petiole, and this complete region is called as leaf lamina. So leaf lamina, right, which is a complete entire region, which is with a margin called as leaf margin. Leaf lamina is also called as leaf blade. So, and this is the apex. Tip of the leaf is called as apex, and these are the parts you have to keep in mind. And lateral appendages, what is that, two greeny leaf-like structures, right? They are called as stipules. If stipules are present, that, what is it, such type of leaf are called as stipulated leaf. If stipules are absent, what is it, exstipulated. What is it, the, if flower with, what is it, the stipule, or you can say generally exstipulate with a stipulated, and flower with petiole. If petiole is present, that is called as petiolate leaf. If flower is not without petiole, right, that is called as sessile leaf. That is how it will be. Midrib will be there, but no petiole. So this is what the structure of leaf. And petiole is stalk of the leaf, right, which helps in the attachment of leaf lamina to the, what is it, through the base it attaches the leaf to the, what is it, the stem, right. And here leaf base, in some it is simple leaf base, in some it is, what is that, the sheathy leaf base, right. In case of sheathy leaf base, right, in case of monocots, like in grasses, that, what is it, the petiole which completely covers the stem, completely or partially, which covers that. By covering, it forms a sheath like structure, right. So that is what sheathy form. And in some it is pulvinous, So in case of what is that, the Fabaceae, like pea and beans, it is called as pulvinous leaf base. So that is, which leaf base is, what is that, swollen leaf base. What is that? Swollen leaf base. So in this case, the swollen leaf base which will be there, that is called as pulvinous, which we can expect. So such type of leaf base, that is the pulvinous leaf base, generally present seen in leguminous plants. What is that? Leguminous plants. So what are those leguminous plants? Example we can take, that is like pea and beans, right? So that is what you have to keep it in mind. This is the expected question, right? Next, in this, generally the lamina, which is also called as, I already explained, that is a leaf blade. So leaf blade, this blade which is with, what is it, the generally leaf blade mainly with, which is a green flattened, what is it, expanded green flattened expanded and which is a flattened structure, and expanded structure, right? Generally this with, right, the mid portion, expanded portion, this will be with a midrib, with, what is that, midrib, leaf blade with midrib. And generally that leaf blade which has a midrib, and along with that midrib there will be veins and veinlets. So this is the one you can expect this question. Lamina with the parts. Lamina with what type of parts? Next, and then lamina, tip of the lamina, right? Tip of the lamina is called as apex, and base of the lamina, that is what we can say, that is a leaf base with petiole, right? Petiole, right? And then edges of the lamina, but you can say that the edges of the leaf lamina are called as, what is it, leaf margin, right? Leaf margin, edges are called as leaf margins. So this, which where you can say that generally which is consisting of that. And midrib, already I mentioned that the prominent vein, midrib is prominent vein in the leaf lamina. Midrib is prominent vein in the, what is that, lamina, prominent vein in the lamina. So what are those veins which arises from midrib towards margin, towards the margin of the leaf, margin of, what is it, leaf, right? So that which supports mainly along with that, from, what is it, the veinlets arises from veins and spreads completely over the lamina. So what is the role of, what is it, the vein and veinlets along with the midrib? The function of the midrib, what is it, the vein and veinlets, mainly it, what is it, the helps, acts as a channels. They acts as a channels for passage of nutrients, water and minerals along with food. This is very, very important. So let us take, what is it, some question related to this. And here let me take, just I will mention in this session the venation. So venation, as we all know, that the generally arrangement of, what is it, the veins and veinlets. If in the leaf, if this is a midrib, the veins are arranged in, what is it, arranged parallelly to each other. So that is called as veinlets. They are called as, generally these are, what is it, the veins These are veins which are arranged, what is it, parallelly. So such type of venation is called as, what is that venation exactly? The arrangement of veins and veinlets. Arrangement of veins and veinlets. Arrangement of veins and veinlets ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಈ ಲೀಫ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೀಫು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮಿಡ್ ರಿಪ್ and wherein which we can see that generally this is the apex, and here the veins will be like this, but veinlets which will be there, the veinlets which forms a network, arranged in the form of network throughout the lamina. So this is what they acts as a passage and channels for the, what is that, transfer of nutrients. So venation, if parallel venation, that is if the arrangement of vein, right? So if the veins are parallel, that is called as parallel venation. Short form use ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So parallel venation, characteristic feature of monocot leaves. In monocot leaves, right? We can't write monocots, that is monocot leaves. And here in this, what is it, the dicot leaves, it is a characteristic feature, right? Whereas here the veinlets, not, we won't say vein, that is veinlets, right, which form a network pattern. So network within the lamina, this is very very important, within lamina. So that is what we can say that is. So now finally I can say that in monocots, that is parallel venation. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಲೀಫ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಲೀಫ್ ನೋಡಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ವೆನೇಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಹಾಗೆ ಫೈಬ್ರಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫೈಬ್ರಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮೋನೋಕಾಟ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಡೈಕಾಟಲ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್, ರೆಟಿಕ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ವೆನೇಷನ್. ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನು ರೆಟಿಕ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ವೆನೇಷನ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಪ್ರೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್, dicot and monocots. So we'll take some question related to this, and later we can solve remaining. We can take remaining this one. Which of the following statement is correct with respect to the given figure showing different zones of typical root? I've already mentioned that. So this is the root cap. This is a root cap, and that root cap, right, which is a single cellular, what is it, the thin, right, when it attains maturity that will become thick, right? So that will going to provide, right? And see, this is the region of, what is it, the meristematic activity, and this is the region of elongation, and characteristic feature where root hairs are present, that is always in the region of maturity. So by seeing this we can identify those regions. Part B mainly helps in absorption of water. No, part A helps in that, right? So that is the answer, where part A which helps in that, and quiescent center is present in part B. So generally we can say that this cell which will going to arrest, or I can say that some cells will going to arrest, they won't, while division takes place, if they won't divide properly, they will be arrested in the C state. So that is also wrong. C region, part A is most suitable for anatomical studies of root. So in this generally we can say that part A is the most suitable, what is it, the anatomical studies, where you can say region of, what is it, the maturity which will be there, right, where the root hairs will be there. We can use that to study the, what is it, the anatomical studies, right, how the structures are differentiated, because here they will be in the matured stage. So that is what we can say, that is T. Differentiation of cells can be absorbed in C. No, here only dividing Here we can say that cell division can be studied, right? Different phases of cell division can be studied, but not anatomy, right? So that is what this is, a dividing, what is it, this phase, dividing in the part, what is it, the C, that is a dividing, very systematic, rapidly and repeatedly mitotic division takes place. So C is the answer. So anatomy, to study the anatomy, it should attain maturity, right? So that is what maturity, region of maturity is required. Part A is required to study the anatomical studies. Match column 1 and 2 and select the correct option from the quotes given below. So pedicel, peduncle, bract, and what is it? So generally we can say that in flower, where we can say that is the flower which will be there, right? So if you consider just one simple diagram, I will write here, and this is the stalk of the flower, and here we can see ovary with stigma and style, and here we can say that is the, just I will write in rough diagram, stamen, and we can take that petals will be there, and here sepals will be there. So this we are going to say that this is called as pedicel. So pedicel is the stalk of the flower. So whenever we are going to take this, let us take what is that? Pedicel is the stalk of the flower, right? And peduncle. So peduncle is generally where we can say that is, in this case, inflorescence axis, that is floral axis. Peduncle is, what is it, floral axis, right? And bract is the reduced leaf that is present here. The reduced leaf like structure will be present in the pedicel. If they are present, that flower is called as bracteate. If it is absent, that is ebracteate. Floral description, we can study this, right? And then petiole. Bract means reduced leaf on the pedicel, that is stalk. Pedicel is the stalk of the flower. Petiole is stalk of leaf. So stalk of flower is called as pedicel, stalk of leaf is called as petiole, right? And then this swollen part which is called as thalamus. What is it? Thalamus, right? That is what you have to keep in mind. So that is generally we can take that. So peduncle is an inflorescence. So thalamus, right? So these are the things we have to keep it in mind. So next, so for this answer, what is it? The A2, B4, C1, D3. A2, B4, what is it? A2, B4, C1, D3. That is, A is the answer for this, right? A is the answer for this. Keep it in mind, bract is reduced leaf. If bract is present, that flower is called as, represented as a formula BR. If flower is without bract, EBR, ebracteate, right? Next, dash type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in flower. So here there are two types of inflorescence. Inflorescence is mode of arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. That is what we have mentioned, that is peduncle. Arrangement of flower on the peduncle, that is floral axis. Arrangement of flower, what is that, the flowers on the floral axis, that is peduncle. That is mainly we can say floral axis, that is called as inflorescence. So inflorescence with floral buds, or we can say that with floral buds, or we can say that many floral buds, or one floral bud with going to give rise to flower or flowers. So if if you're going to consider this is the floral axis, if it is going to terminate with the flower, if it will going to terminate with the flower, so that is called as cymose. If it won't terminate, just the laterally it will going to give rise to the flower, right? Laterally it will going to give rise to the flower, that is called as, what is that, racemose. It will keep on, what is it, the continue its growth in the main axis, right? So racemose, where it continues its growth, that is indefinite growth. What is that? Indefinite. Whereas here, what is it, the cymose, in this case, it is a definite growth. Ends, the main axis terminates with flower. But main axis won't terminate here. Main axis continues to grow. Main axis, what is that? Continues to grow. There will be a continuous growth, right? So racemose. What is that? The main axis terminates in a flower. So that is what? Cymose. Terminates in a flower, cymose. Hence it is limited in growth. And flowers are born in dash succession. Succession means, so here in the, what is it, the racemose, what is that? The young flowers, the bud at the apex and the older flowers at the base. So if such type of arrangement, which is called as acropetal, in, what is it, the racemose, we can say that acropetal, where growth is continuous, that is, we can say unlimited. Growth is unlimited. Here the question is asking limited. So limited means cymose. In cymose we can see basipetal. So what is the meaning of basipetal? The flowers in which the older flowers at the apex and young flowers at the base. So if this, we're going to see that young flowers, these are the young flowers at the base, and then older flowers at the apex. Such type of, yavago ನಾವು keep in mind with respect to young ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, young base ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ basipetal, young apex ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ acropetal ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, that is acropetal. So answer is D. So what is that, the third one, answer is D. Cymose cease ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ growth ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So roots which develop from plant parts other than the radical. So already we have discussed that. What is that? That is the adventitious roots. That is always develops from the radical. Here radical elongates, and that forms a root, primary root, and primary root to secondary root and tertiary root. And then here adventitious roots, that is which develops from the other parts of the plants, right? Next, given some difference between underground stem and a root, select the option and identify the incorrect differences we want. So fifth question, so here we can take with the option, it is differentiated into nodes and, what is it, the internodes. Underground stem, no, that is wrong. It is not differentiated into nodes and internodes. So underground stem and root. So here generally we can take the stem or underground stem, right? So in this case generally, so this is differentiated, just we can take to avoid confusion. The underground stem or stem, that is with the nodes and internodes, correct, and it is not differentiated, correct. And scale leaves are present at nodes. So generally whenever we are going to take that scale leaves are present, is correct, and scale leaves are absent in roots, that is also correct. Axillary buds are present in the axil of scaly leaves. So whenever we are going to consider this generally, right, so in this this will be there in the, generally in the stem it won't be there, right. Axillary buds are present in the axil of, not in the scaly leaves, that is in the leaves. Axillary buds are present in the root tip. Wrong. So axillary buds are present on the axil of the leaf, right. That is one we can take. And branches are exogenously, branches arises from exogenously means from the outside the body, right, epidermal, and endogenously inside the soil, right. That is we can say exogenously. And root hairs and root caps are absent. Root hairs and root caps, this is not in the stem, that is in the root. Root hairs and root caps are present. So in root, generally we will say that we can take that this is the stem, root hairs and root caps, we won't see that, correct, sorry, this is also, that is root with root hairs and root cap, this is also correct. And flowers and fruits are usually present, flowers and fruits are absent. So in this case, where you can say that the flowers and fruits are usually present in the underground stem. So below the underground, right, below the ground level, above the ground level we can see, but here we can't. So flowers and fruits are absent. Flowers and fruits are absent, right? So this is wrong. So that is, what is that? Generally we can say the second, scaly leaves. Right? This third option is, this one is wrong, and flowers and fruits, fifth one is wrong, and one more here we can take that sixth one. These usually perform function of food storage, underground stem, and these always perform the function of food storage. No, these are not, the root won't, underground, what is the stem or modified, but these are not proper pair, we'll say. This will be present, usually this will be present, but this won't be there. Either this is absent, this is correct, but this is wrong. And here in this case, axillary buds are present in root, wrong. And this axil of scales, here you can say that the leaves we can mention, axillary buds are present in stem, but here they are present, this is wrong. Means both are not matching properly. So answer is C. Right, next, select mismatched pair. Taproot in the dicot system, that is correct. And fibrous root system in the monocot, correct. Fasciculated root, what is it, the curcuma, right. Whenever we will say this, the, what is it, the fasciculated root won't be there in the curcuma, right. So that is wrong. And next, whenever we are going to take that the fasciculated root, right, generally it is still root in sugarcane. I have already mentioned that. Right, so this is absent, right, in the curcuma, right. Next, still root in the sugarcane, this is C is the wrong pair, right. Next, edible roots are found in, right. So generally rice, no, wheat, no, potato, wrong, that is the stem part. Sweet potato is a edible root, seventh one. And eighth one, read the given statement and select the correct option. Root caps are present in prop roots. Root caps are present in prop roots. Select the correct ones. So prop roots, the root caps will be going to develop, right. Nematopores helps in, what is it, they get oxygen, that is also correct. Edible part of the ginger is a underground, what is it, the stem. Edible part of the ginger is underground stem, that is generally underground stem, that is a modified underground, what is it, the ginger, where you can say that the underground stem, where stem modification. Edible part of the ginger is underground stem, right. And then hydrophytes usually possess well developed root system. No, that is wrong, right. Root caps are present in prop roots, that is, sorry, that is wrong. And then nematopores, this is correct, edible part. So 2 and 3 are correct, so that is B, right. Answer is B. 2 and 3 are correct. Next question. In an inflorescence where flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession means the young flowers at the apex, right, young flowers at the apex and older flowers at the base. right? So that is how it will be. I already explained this. So the position of the youngest floral bud, so always that is at the proximal, right? So whenever we are going to take that, the acropetal, in an inflorescence where flowers born laterally, so now let us take like this, laterally, right? And in an acropetal succession, so acropetal means young flower at the apex, right? And old flower at the base, right? In an inflorescence where flowers born laterally, right? So that is, we can say, proximal, right? Proximal end. So young flowers at the apex, or we can also say that apex. At the base, that is distal end, that is where you can say that older flowers. Next, which of the following plant part in garlic and onion are edible? So in garlic and onion, what is it? The edible parts are fleshy scale leaves, right? Garlic and onion, right? So fleshy scale leaves, right, which are the edible parts. So let us continue the remaining questions in the next class, right?